this morning at the dedication of the Klan Trials Marker. I'm Mickey Ross, Executive Director of the Williamson Museum, and we are thrilled to have partnered with THC and the county on this marker. I'd like to take just a second, although this is a friendly crowd. We don't know if we have lots of people or just a few. And by the time I introduce all the important people here, that'll be everybody that's here. But I do want to start with introducing our county judge, Dan Gaddis, who is here. Also, Gaddis will have a part in a moment. I'd also like to introduce Lisa Bergman, Commissioner from the Round Rock area. Jerry Jones, Treasurer-elect for Williamson County, who is here. Dale Ross, Mayor of Georgetown, is, wandering over because he had to, because I said he must come. Leo Wood, former mayor of the city of Georgetown. I'm supposed to be looking there. I'm supposed to follow directions well. I also would like to introduce members of the Williamson County Historical Commission who are here today. PJ Stevens, our chair. PJ, wave. Laura Sue Smith. Marietta Mugford. Any other historical commission folks? I don't think so. Wayne Mayer, I'm sorry, the most important one who's taking care of all of our video for the commission. I also have Susan Komendowski here from the Moody Museum, who will speak to you in just a moment. I have from my own board of directors, we have John Lewis, Michelle Cervantes, White Hen, Kristen Eschenberger, Joe Savage, and anyone else that I'm forgetting there? Shelley Hargrove from the Main Street Directors of the City of Georgetown is also here. Thank you, Shelley. And our speaker, who I will introduce next, is Bob Brinkman from the Texas Historical Commission, who's going to speak a little bit about historical markers in Texas. Bob, thank you very much.
Thank you, Vicki. Thank you, everybody. Greetings from the Texas Historical Commission from the state of Texas, and congratulations on the placement of this latest historical marker. The Texas Historical Commission is the state agency for historic preservation, and our tagline is also real places telling real stories. And it's hard to think of a more significant or important story to tell than that of Dan Moody and the Klan trials in the 1920s. It's an example of when a whole lot of the world was doing something wrong and one person stood up and did what was right. We think that's a story that's timeless. We think it's important to tell. And through a program we have called Undertold Markers, we try to tell the stories that are either not told at all or are not out there much. They're known by just a few people. So we hope this marker will help to publicize that to a wider audience. This is for the citizens of the community, this is for visitors passing through, and this is most importantly for the next generation, that they'll see a story, they'll read about this, and they'll read more about it. Hopefully they'll be illuminated, hopefully they'll be inspired, and they'll go out and make their own history and keep changing the world for the better. So congratulations and thanks for the invitation, and I'll pass it on.
He is a Williamson County person who grew up here and has done a lot to increase what we know about Williamson County and to help promote what we do here. And I appreciate that from a local county perspective as well as the state perspective. So thank you, Bob. At this time, I'm going to ask Susan Komendowski to come up and speak to us from the Moody Museum. Susan?
Good morning. When Dan Moody was growing up in Taylor, which is just a few miles from here, honesty, integrity, public service were all part of the lifeblood of that family. His father had been the first mayor of Taylor, so they had been giving back for a long time. And those same values are what led him to look for a case against the Klan and to actually prosecute it, which is what this marker commemorates today. And 40 years ago this December, his sister Mary gave the childhood home to the city of Taylor as a museum to commemorate the things that her brother had done. It was on the grounds of that home that the first historical marker commemorating Dan Moody's efforts in the state of Texas and his serving as Texas' youngest governor, even today the youngest, that was erected. And the folks of Taylor and the board of the Moody Museum are all happy to see another marker here on the courthouse lawn in the county seat commemorating Taylor's favorite son and his efforts on the part to enforce the laws and to bring about justice for everyone. Thank you.
One of the most exciting things after the marker that's going on here in terms of Dan Moody and the Klan trials is a documentary about those trials, which we have never had created before. So at this time, I'm thrilled to introduce Chet Garner, host of The Day Tripper, who is creating that documentary for us, which we'll get to see a taste of in just a few minutes. Chet?
Thank you. Yeah, I think, we all agree that stories matter. Stories matter tremendously. Growing up as a Boy Scout, as a seventh generation Texan, I've been told a lot of stories by my grandfather, great-grandfather. I have no idea if any of them are true or not. But when you find a story that you know is true, that's as dramatic, that carries as much weight, as much gravitas, as perhaps one that's made up, well, that's one that you have to tell. You have to retell it. And so I'm honored. Thank you, Mickey and Susan, for really helping this documentary get off the ground. Todd White, Emily Treadway. We've been working really hard to get down to the truth of this story of Dan Moody versus the KKK trial. Let me tell you guys, this is as good a story as they make Hollywood movies about. And we're truly honored to be taking that story and telling it in a visual form. The marker is fantastic. We live in an age where stories really are, in one ear, out the other. We've aren't putting as much importance as they did in, generations past on the art of storytelling, and we're hoping to bring that back and really tell a rich story, a true story about the battle that happened in this courtroom right behind us and the repercussions that we still feel today of what Dan Moody was able to accomplish right here on this ground. Because this is not just a real story, it's a real story that we can connect to a real place, just like the Historical Commission does so well. And it's our place, it's the place right behind us. I moved to Georgetown about 2.5 years ago, and before I did, I had never heard this story before, which instantly told me this is an undertold story that if we don't tell it, it's going to be forgotten. And so I'm so glad the Williamson Museum feels the same, the Texas Historical Commission feels the same, and we have this marker now to remember it forever. And very soon we'll have a documentary to do the same, and I'm honored to be a part of making that story told. Thank you guys very much.
At this time, I would like for PJ Stevens from the Historical Commission and Judge Dan Gaddis to come and unveil our marker. Y'all are a little taller than I am. It should be easier to get that down than it was to get it up.
Ready? Yeah.